Hey guys, once again here with the the Unity Gym, representing not as a favour but to just exemplify how we should be as a collective. Unity Gym. So I wear this jumper often every time because it just preserves that essence and that sense of the solidarity that we should have as a collective. And the coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever, is a test for this. It is so that we go back within, internalize, and for the mirror to now be illumined on things that was repressed, in substituting what's conducive for humanity for a specious enticement, deception. So, excuse this rash, every time it's summer, or say if there's a shift in atmospheric shift, summer, winter, I seem to get acne and sore skin until my skin adapts, acclimates, like we do, like the soul does to different seasons. Seasons could be not just the exterior weather, but the weather from within. Sometimes it laps back round because it's built on that ratio. It's built on a ratio of 9. So it always spirals back through itself, 360s, to elicit, to secrete more, to refine more, crystallize more, crystalline. So I'm really tired. This video was about going back within. Wait, give me 1 minute. It's too intense, this light here. It's actually really bright in this room, but the camera doesn't pick it up. The lens doesn't pick it up. So, this video is going to be about Ramadan. And what the actuality of it is. You could say, I know the questions are coming now. Are you Muslim? Muslim is an exemplary propensity in accordance with the unseen. The unseen is what makes this realm to be, and it consists of the atomic structure of love, which is a sensation and an emanation, and you have to be in accordance with that symbiosis with this environment, this projection, working in mutual exchange from the divine. And that's what Muslim is, to be that, to show that, to transcend. It is to negate egoic endeavours from within, to recognise it without, to then attenuate your reaction to others' egos, and that it's about to rehabitualise that reflex. That's all it is. So yes, that's what I am, and we call it Muslim. From the Middle East in term Muslim, to submit to the way, to the prophets. And the prophets mean prophetic light from a divine plane. I'm not going to use Arabic terms because this videos are for everybody. But they call it malakut, which is the divine light, and we're all an emanation of that light, and we're like a transmitting animation in which the prophets are a medium for. So yes, this is a true reality. But this video is not so much about that. I could get into that more. It was about Ramadan, and about how in Ramadan, how it should be perceived. And I know that a lot of Muslims are claiming too much. They're claiming this it's a status. In the modern era, we're all about what? We are all about status. We are completely fixated on the opulence of the illusion, and we want to keep veiling it over with more adornment of this illusion, of this big facade that is deceptive, deceiving you. And it's a part of the game, the inclusivity. There is no good without bad, but it has to oscillate like this to the point where each sway to each side polarity sharpens its sword to become more within the centre, like a centrifugal force, faster, so you become a conduit. You're not as affected, you're not as affected by each polarity, so you're not in the distinction perception, which is slow, it's friction related, because if you're on one, you're affected by the other. You have to be spiraling, always spiraling. I do not know of what I speak. I said in my last video, and I will keep reiterating, I am nothing. I am not a sheikh, I am not a master, I am not a spiritual guide, I am not a guru. I am nothing. I do this video because I feel a sensation, a transmission, and I act upon that sensation. And it confirms itself as I'm doing the video, because it feels right. And we all got our own way of saying things. Each expression is a focalized, condensed essence of God's emitting itself through. And each one of you is the mirror of it. So this is your expression through God, Allah, the Almighty, because it's transcendent from ego. That's why it's almighty. Your ego is not almighty. Now, if you think your ego is almighty, you will have an impediment upon the fluidity of whatever you do, because you are an effect of what this is, but you're not the one who voluntarily, through your own autonomy, makes it to be. So once you get stuck in that rut, in that chasm, you will always induce a frictional reaction, because you're getting in the way of things. So this is relative to what I'm going to say next. In Ramadan, like we wear the label of being a Muslim, when we're doing the fasting, we focus too much on detail. We focus too much on 0.10, 0.5 angle of this timing. These details are egoic objections. You're objectifying the act instead of knowing why you do it in the first place. This is ego based and relative to ego. There's no precision in this. It's synthesization of the reflection of what is given back into your essence and being, without the introjection of the lower dimensional beings and the false construct of the reality of stimulus. Stimulating your ego. Your ego is very sensitive to the illusion. And Ramadan is meant for the abstinence. It's a disciplinary. All religions are. When I go to the gym and train, it's a disciplinary. Because what it does is, it funnels something. So it's abstinence from the things that are not prolific for your soul's expression. It cannot ride the wave of that prolific expression because it's going for things that don't do anything. They don't equate to nothing. So Ramadan is meant to release you from the captivity that is self-induced in this paradigm, in this interlocked paradigm that sustains itself for its own enticements that don't have no service for your soul. So this is what Ramadan's for. It's for that deep, they call it in Islam tafakkul, even more. Just like this COVID, you have to stay in, you have to meditate, you have to reflect. It's the same thing in Ramadan. You are having no forms of stimulus anymore, not even water, to preserve that sense of who you think you are. Because they're all these acts of eating and things are exciting receptors through your synapses and all this system. And they call it in Islam nafs, and it's all doing that. And it's all exciting them receptors to think that there's something to attain. Like the dopamine and all them other hormones that get you hooked onto these things. It is consolidating that sense of being. Not the soul, not the thing that is animate of this effect of the sense of being. We don't focus on that too much. We forgot that completely. So Ramadan should be a very important time to do this. And it should be a time where you know that you should. Now this is not condemnation. This is I don't judge. The ultimate judger is the divine. And that will show itself through you through tests, so that you can recalibrate and all that. That will judge you through its of itself. So it will judge you, and you will feel it, and you'll get given a scenario that is an opportunity to refine you and to give it up. It will show you that yourself, yourself, your sense of self, doesn't have no validity. And that through abstinence of all this, like Ramadan, through the abstinence of that stimulation, you will know now that the provision was the divine always, and that was always the ultimate source of provision. And we will realise how much things are not necessity, and it will mirror that for us. If things are not necessity, then what do they have to serve? What purpose is it serving? Because now what happens? It's an addition, an addition, ultra surplus. Why do you need that? What are you saving something for? Excess is not good, because then you're in the paradigm of the carbon reality of attribution attached to carbon worth, which is your body. Not the divine. Without the divine, this realm wouldn't be a thing. So it's this whole thing has become an inverted. It's upside down. We think that the outside is the provision from for the in. It doesn't work like that. It's a reverberation, that 360s. So if you get it right within, things will just be now from the without, from that station. So I know a lot of people in Ramadan, it's an opportunity for some people to become a little pompous in their way, and inflation of the false self, like I'm fasting, look at me, I'm fasting. Same with the mosque, look at me, I'm praying. And every time, if you do that, the validity of your sense of false self will start to inundate the true innate. It will inundate the true innate from your soul. So then you will not be of service to nobody, other than the ones that are corresponding to that effect of that ego. And you will go around in circles. And then when you get hit with a test, you don't see where it came from, because you were so subsumed into now that reality. Because the praying was wrong, the Ramadan was, the fasting was wrong. There's no wrong or right, okay? But what I'm saying it for the basic. I'm keeping it simple terms, just for the sake of speaking. Don't become self-righteous, because it's poison. And the shaitan, the jinn, them realms, they are you too. They are not separate from you. They live within you. Yeah, we might see them as if they're outside of us, but we see people outside of us, and they are us too. It's an aperture in which it's mirroring through itself again, the 360 effect. So it's a direct mirror. I have the camera here now, and it looks like this camera, I am outside of myself. This technology is doing this now. It's trying to emulate the original design of this realm for its own, again, validity. So it looks like I'm outside speaking to somebody else. It's me. And it's the same for other people. These people are you. They're all you. Even if it's something negative that's coming to you from them, was a test, a transmission through from the ultimate, the absolute, to consolidate more of your essence. Through your perception of you, to give in more. Through that reflection, through your reaction, it will reflect. So it's trying to strengthen your reaction so that you are more responsible for that reaction instead of feeding it. This is the part of the game that God's playing. So use this Ramadan for an opportunity to really know this, and that we didn't actually need anything, because when Ramadan came around, we didn't need anything. And it is confirmed in Ramadan. And I know that in Ramadan, the lower beings that I said are not actually outside of you or within you. They are also doing what a person does when they come to you with a bad attitude, not good adab, manners. So they come to you with bad manner, just like another entity would that we can't see, to teach you. Always to recalibrate. It's always an opportunity to recalibrate further to the proximity of the divine while you're here. I am not of a station to really talk about these things well, but I get a feeling in my mind. From my heart, I have a feeling, and I think, right, I need to put that feeling into the finite medium of words. That's what I'm doing. They're just important pointers. Before when I came into Islam and all this, and being a Muslim, I already felt these things. I heard saying I'm now a Muslim didn't initiate it. It falls into you, back through you. Again, it's not a label, it's not a status. As soon as you'll say, I'm just stating this for the sake of the video because, I'm mentioning Ramadan. And I've actually experienced Ramadan. So I'm not just going by my ability to retain information at all. And before I did Ramadan, I didn't claim any being Muslim or nothing like this. Somebody told me I was Muslim because the way, we're all that anyway. What I explained earlier, what consists of being that, we are all that. It's intrinsic from the prophets. It's an intrinsic sense of worth from the prophetic divine light, from the unseen planes. We're all that anyway, but we're playing the games if we're not. A duality thing. But not soon, this will not be. So we're getting grinded even more, especially the strong believers. So before I was Muslim, I felt this way anyway, and I used to water fast for up to 2 to 3 days. I think I dry fasted a few times for a full day, no food or water, not eating at 9 o'clock. That's waiting for that time. No, it was a full through 24 hours. And then when I water fasted, I've done water fasts for um, over 48 hours, maybe 3 days. Because I can remember clearly in my mind what I felt. Liberation. Because I wasn't, through the stimulation, I wasn't feeding the sub-reality. I wasn't feeding the thread. It was a negation. It was a direct negation through that act to feed that sense of self that we've been inculcated with through doctrines. Not Allah's doctrine, not the divine doctrine. False, dogmatic education systems and all this, and subject to all that media and all these things are still ingrained neurally in that network. But don't let it castrate you from the divine. Let it just solidify more of that effect of that essence. I'm talking too much, but it's YouTube, and I just think it's important. I have not been permitted this position to speak. It is an act that I feel, or maybe it's permitted in some form to use this medium of this YouTube's a low station medium, because YouTube is subject to earthly things. Subject to earthly, so I can use the angle of this illusion to ride the wave of it, because it's subject to earthly things. YouTube is forbidden. When you're scrolling on a page, there's all kinds of enticements everywhere. Women, there's dating site suggestions on YouTube now. They're infestating everywhere because the end times are approaching, you see. So it's imminent. There's an imminence to end times, and the proximity of this imminence is very close when some prophets will return. Another video. So the other side of that, the other beings as I mentioned, will ever more rapaciously try to grab you, to make you like that. So it's sustaining that illusion. And that's what's happening. But I can use this to my advantage. And we should all do that. There's even YouTube videos with women and homosexuality condoning certain sexual acts. So be very careful on what you watch on YouTube. If you watch a video like this and some other YouTubers that are much bigger than my channel, mine's nothing, because maybe this is not a medium I'm supposed to grow in, because maybe it will affect my ego negatively. I do not know, but I do it for the sake of it, because I enjoy talking, you see. But it's not nonsense, not empty talk, something that will give you something. You can take something from this, from the divine coming through. So yeah, the YouTube is not good. If you watch a video like this, that's sufficient enough. Leave it. Don't keep watching, because you're suggesting to your being and implying that you're not enough. This is not sufficient. I need more. So then all of a sudden the dating site comes up. I'm a bit weak, I'll just click that. All of a sudden you're watching the sites, the pornography sites. We've all been there. Again, this is not a condemnation of that. It's a part of the inclusivity, okay? It's inclusive to what we have to go through to know what it's not, okay? It's a dual aspect of it. But I'm just saying, watch, leave, move on. This flat that I'm in here, all this flat, there's a TV. because I like DVDs that inspire me, okay? That have inspiration, that revive your sense of being, your sense of self. But I'll only do it if I can take something from that, extract meaning, if you will. But all I have here is art. I do my artwork. I write books. Not published any of them yet because I'm not ready for that. Maybe when it's ready, don't want to do it prematurely. There's a time for everything. All you have to do is propagate a seed. Once the seed is propagated, recede from that effect, because if you keep doing it, it will become contrived and it will get in its own way. Just like the feminine, male polarity aspects. You give, then let it grow, then you receive. And that's what happens when you have a child. We are that energy imprint as a being. So anything you do has to be in accordance with that imprint from the divine. So all I have is instruments. I have a drum over here, a big drum. I don't know where it's from, Brazilian drum. Tom, what's it called? Can't see. But it's a big one, like a big battle drum. And then I have a guitar over there. TV, yes, but only for DVDs. No TV, no telly.